Not every film can be Citizen Kane, but even critics have claimed that it was shit in its day. Some films are shit and shit they will stay, but some get better over time because of Nicolas Cage. So which film stays shit forever? And which one's got a little bit better? Second chance movies. No poor bloods were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Welcome to Second Chance Movies, the podcast where we rewatch movies and decide if they deserve a second chance.
I'm Joe Harper, your host who loves rewatching movies and enjoys a good game of baseball.
I'm Jessica Kwazz, your host who's a one and done kind of movie viewer who thinks the NFL is toxic and doesn't get why America loves football so much. And today we will be giving a second chance to The Blind Side.
Touchdown, guys.
Football.
So the reason we're doing, of course, The Blind Side today is because it's a series of our Oscar movies. We're doing another Oscar movie. This was nominated for Best Picture back in the 2010 Oscars. And boy, there was a lot of good selection there. And this was one of those ones that baffled a few people. Why was this in the nomination list? Because there's way better things out there. And hey, we're giving it a shot. Let's try it out,
Yeah. And of course, Sandra Bullock won Best Actress for this role, which again is like, okay.
I think this is why that movie got so much attention.
Yes.
As we all know, Sandra Bullock from Miss Congeniality.
Do you know what today is, Joe?
Today is a perfect day.
Why is that?
Because it's April 25th.
Oh.
It's not too hot, not too cold, and all you need is a light jacket.
Describe your perfect date.
It's a tough one. I'd have to say April 25th, because it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
It's perfect. We are releasing it on today, the unofficial Miss Congeniality Day.
It so happened that lined up so perfectly.
We did not plan this.
And I'm not telling the wife. She's gonna have to hear this on her own. And she loves quoting that all the time.
It's a funny quote. I love that movie. It still gets me. And today is also Oscar Sunday. So we are releasing one of the most baffling Best Picture nominations on the actual day of 2021's awards show. So there you go.
I want to hear our first time.
Sure. So my first time watching this, pretty underwhelming. I don't think I saw it. I don't know if I saw it in theaters or not. I definitely didn't watch it alone. I probably watched it with my mom or something.
Okay.
And I don't remember it too much. I do remember thinking yeah, that's fine. And I'm sure I got a little choked up because I get really emotional and cry a lot when I watch movies. But yeah, I don't remember feeling one way or the other about this movie. It was just yeah, that's fine. I did remember, I think I watched it either after the Oscar nominations were announced that year or after she won. I'm not sure.
Right.
But I do remember watching it being Oscars? Okay.
I think I missed out on theaters. I think I saw it on DVD with the family. It had to have been after all. It was either right after or right before the awards. And so when we watched it, I mean, it's a feel-good movie. There's a lot of good stuff in it. And so I think we liked it, but it didn't blow my mind away because I haven't seen it in 10 years.
Yeah, same here. I hadn't seen it since around the time it first came out.
And I watch everything twice almost.
You do?
I don't know where I find the time. All right, guys. We're going to go over the summary with you from IMDb. The story of Michael Orr, a homeless and traumatized boy who became an All-American football player and first-round NFL draft pick with the help of a caring woman and her family. Do you think that describes this movie well?
I do not.
I don't think so either, because I think him being the first round NFL draft pick is not an important part of this story. It's one of those things that like I would read in a text in the credits, like, oh, turns out Michael Orr was the first round draft pick. Oh, that's so cool.
Right. Yeah, I have issues with it too because it frames it as it's like Michael Orr's story. And I'll get into my thoughts on that later. But no, I would definitely just explain this movie as a white savior complex porn. That's like what it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. When I think of this movie, I just instinctively think, oh, Sandra Bullock won an Oscar for this. She adopts a poor kid, and then there's a mix of football, white privilege, and Christianity, and that's that movie rolled up in a big old snowball.
Yeah, all that's in there.
So before we continue, there are always spoilers probably, because we're gonna be talking about the movie, as this is a review podcast.
Speaking of reviews, is that
What?
that time? Review time.
Of course, let's hear some reviews.
So let's start off with some positive reviews. Let's get into a good mood.
Okay.
Kevin McCarthy with BDK reviews, which sidebar for those of my fellow murderinos reminds me of BTK, but whatever. BDK reviews wrote, judging by the awful trailers, I did not think in a million years I would see a wonderful true story that perfectly balanced comedy and drama. Bullock was fantastic.
We're off to some disagreement.
Yeah.
Graham Young of Birmingham Post said, some will find it overly sentimental, but it does succeed in pulling at the heartstrings. And Sandy proves she can really act. Oh man, I'm all over the place. So it does tug at the heartstrings. I'll admit that. There's a lot of lines, as corny as some may be, I still think, oh, that's sweet. That's cute.
I know, I agree. Like, yeah, there are some like sweet moments that, get to me, but I wouldn't say it's like a groundbreaking.
With Sandy's performance, I am right on the middle of it is a great performance and a terrible performance.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. I disagree with that part where she proves she can act. This is not the movie where she proves she can act. This is a movie where she proves she can do an accent.
Well, I have issues as a former Texan. I have issues with that accent, any Southern accent. But yeah, Alex Zane of The Sun wrote, it's clumsy, obvious filmmaking, but then if you buy into it, well, it's kind of lovely, basic in its emotional button pushing.
It's like, I thought it sucks, but like, I guess if you want to like it, you can like it.
If you don't like it, you won't like it. But if you do like it, you will like it. Thanks, June.
Thanks.
That's how feelings work. Yay. Was that all the positive reviews we found?
That was all the positive reviews I found.
There's more out there. Those were just our favorites. Let's go into the negatives. Deborah Ross, The Spectator. This is a horrid film, and I hated it. And while I suppose you can't argue with the true story, you can always argue with the way it was told.
I love the passion and agree with the second half.
Kate Roger of News Hub. It felt tired and cliched, and the frequent and obvious emotional button pushing failed to ignite any real response from me.
Oh, okay.
The phrase button pushing is used so often with this movie. It's pretty ridiculous.
Button pushing. I didn't push any buttons for me. Maybe it did, but not in a good
it didn't
sense.
push buttons. It tugged at heartstrings for sure.
Claudia Pugh for USA Today wrote, it superficially keeps it from being the moving story it could have been. Yeah, don't disagree.
I don't think it holds up as strongly in 2021 as it did in our very blinded eyes in 2009.
It sure does
Maybe not ours, but definitely whoever made this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, now there is a very, very, very specific type of audience that would like this movie in 2021. You can probably guess what that audience is. You might have seen him at the Capitol on January 6th, whatever.
Whoa, whoa, yikes. Oh, man. That's Jessica's review. You'll only like this movie if you were at the Capitol on January 6th. Yikes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how any would follow up after Jessica's review of this movie. Oh my goodness.
Well, I got one. We'll try. Chris Bumbray with Joe Blow's Movie Network, our favorite movie network, wrote, "This feels way too manipulative to be taken seriously."
I can see that. There's
Yeah.
definitely like a this is the beat in the movie. This is a beat. This is the beat.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're pushing buttons and we like it. So I feel like the 2010 Oscars for Best Picture, at least half, if not more, are really good, and they still hold up now. Our winner was The Hurt Locker, which that's a
Catherine
solid
Bigelow.
movie.
Catherine Bigelow, my girl.
Avatar, which I don't know. I feel like that as a just a phenomenon itself stands up over Hurt Locker over time. We just were all really excited to vote Hurt Locker over Avatar.
Yeah, I was, especially because Catherine Bigelow is the ex-wife of James Cameron, and he treated her like shit. So I
Man.
wanted her to win, and she did.
And we got little Hawkeye Jeremy Renner.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that was big. It got him noticed.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's
Bigelow's. That was just Hurt Locker's great.
It's good.
We got Hurt Locker, Avatar.
Oh wait, isn't Anthony Mackie also in Hurt Locker?
He sure is. It was Hawkeye and Falcon.
Oh my god! Oh, what a movie! What a flick!
All right, those two. The Blind Side, District 9.
Oh,
I love that movie.
So good. It's such a good movie.
An Education, Inglourious Bastards, Precious, based off the novel Push by Sapphire, A Serious Man, Up, and Up in the Air. Up is so good.
Up is,
And
phenomenal.
Up in the Air, also so good.
Those movies, I would say, An Education. What I remember seeing it. It was, intense. I don't know, Best Picture worthy. The Blind Side in that list just sticks out like a sore thumb for me.
Okay, yeah.
And honestly, I do have to say too, it's out of all those, it's the one besides An Education and Serious Man, like The Blind Side. Those three are not talked about. Like they don't have any sort of, legacy other than the weird Sandra Bullock movie. It doesn't fit that list.
Yeah, I think everything else, at least, either holds up or we still talk about. I don't think anyone talks about Up in the Air, but
That's true.
but I think it's a solid. It's one of my ones I enjoy a lot.
Yeah, it's good. So that year that Sandra Bullock won for Best Actress, she was up against Carey Mulligan for An Education.
Okay.
Who I love her. Should she have won? Probably not.
I didn't see that movie.
You don't need to.
Okay.
It's fine, but you don't need to. Helen Mirren for The Last Station, didn't see that, but Helen Mirren is solid. Meryl Streep for Julie and Julia, which it's Meryl Streep, but it's like a fun performance, and she's just like Julia Childs. Good for her. Gabourey Sidibe for Precious, based on the novel Push by Sapphire, and Sandy won out of that group. To me, what's shocking is that Sidibe didn't win for Precious, because that performance is, just incredible and gives you like every range of emotion. Like she is just bringing it throughout that movie, and to me, like that's the clear winner, the performance, that was it. So
to me, the Oscars, at least from the outside perspective looking in, it looked like it was someone's first movie versus a like career win.
Yeah, it did also feel like Sandra Bullock is really, really well liked. And so I even thought this at the time, it just kind of felt like, oh, well, let's just give it to Sandy. Let's give it to her. She's good. But then, a few years later, Gravity came out, and that's a much better performance.
She also won a Razzie.
For The Blind Side?
No, she didn't win a Razzie for The Blind Side. She won a Razzie for, I think, All About Steve, which I think was the same year, if I'm not mistaken. We really sidetracked with all those Best Picture nominees.
Yeah, well, it's Oscar day, so we had to get into it a little bit.
All right, guys. We're going to talk about our second chance with this movie. Now, Jessica, since it's been roughly about 10 years since you've seen it, what has changed? What do you like? What do you not like this second time around? Let's talk about, as I know, I can already tell what you do not like is going to be a longer list. Yes. Let's get off of what we do like about this movie.
Okay, yeah. That's a shorter list I can go through.
Yeah. It seems I can already hear it in the tone of your voice.
So for as much flack and jokes we've been making about Sandra Bullock winning an Oscar for this movie, I do like her in it. I think that she has this really nice blend of sass and toughness, but also kindness, and I like her performance. Is it Oscar worthy? Absolutely not. But I like it. You can tell she kind of has fun in certain moments with it. She did bring some like compassion to the role, and I like her. I think she is entertaining to watch.
I'm indifferent about Sandra Bullock. Right off the bat, I just could not. I don't like this accent, but it grows on me. She has this face that always seems like she's mad at something, or just like a sour face. And I think it just doesn't come off, at least for the character that's supposed to be so kind and nice and open arms, to be so like closed, or it just seemed weird to me.
Well, I don't like, I see what you're saying, but I do think that like she does have a toughness to her. Like she is a kind person, but she's also like this tough Southern gal. Like she's, has tenacity. She's not just like, everyone come in, I'll be your mother.
But growing up in the South, it's like two different people she's trying to be.
Okay.
I feel like that person can still be tough, but also just have that friendly smile on her face, and then turn when it's time, rather than always having that like stern look on her face.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, yeah, maybe I have a different perspective because I didn't grow up in the South. The accent doesn't like bother me, but like you're right, if it's not great, but like at least it doesn't fade in and out. It is consistent. Unlike American Hustle, which we just talked about, where Jennifer Lawrence's accent is all over the damn place.
I know this is not what you liked. Oh, no. I like SJ. He just brings so much energy into this movie. It's so obnoxious. But he's just like, it's just energy. He's cute. He's little. He's funny. Says funny things. But also, a lot of things he says, I'm just like, you're a stupid kid.
So you're right. I don't like SJ. I think because they overused this kid. So SJ is the young son of the Toohey family. He really has a nice bond with Michael. They really like form a brotherhood really fast, and Michael becomes his protective older brother, and SJ really admires him, and it's sweet. It is a sweet relationship, and he does add some fun and some energy to it, but they just use him way too much. Like at one point, this kid is teaching Michael about football plays, and it's like in real life, Michael was actually playing football before the Tooheys, he even met the Tooheys. So that was kind of annoying, just watching this like kid be like, and here's how you do this, just get out of here. And then also when like Michael is interviewing with potential colleges, we have SJ just in the room the whole time trying to make deals out of it too, to the point where SJ,
what am I gonna get?
Yeah, what am I gonna get out of this? And it's to the point where like he's overshadowing Michael, who is like made huge accomplishments.
Yeah. He's just silly. They give him a lot of funny, goofy lines, some which do not go well. Is over the top. I just want to tap him on the head and just like time out.
Yeah.
Your little snooze button for you.
Go to your room, calm down. So I will say one thing I did like about this movie is a very specific thing. So I'm just going to preface this by saying I hate football. I think it's dumb. I don't like it. I think the NFL is toxic. It's not for me.
Second Chance Movies does not have that same opinion.
Okay. Jessica,
we like popular
do
things.
not like football whatsoever. I think football is toxic. One thing I liked about this movie is that Michael's main issue to overcome in playing football is that he doesn't want to hurt people and like get super aggressive. And I just find that like really endearing and something really refreshing to see when it comes to the topic of football, that like he's not like tackling people right because he doesn't like want to hurt them. He's like at one point picks up a player because he doesn't want to hurt him. And then like I like that that's the thing he has to overcome about this game is like just like you're good, you need to like use your force. And like
he's a gentle giant.
He's a gentle giant and he doesn't want to hurt people. And I just find that like really sweet.
Yeah, until they are like Leanne and the coach kind of give him like, there's two pep talks that really like get him to like top tier football status. Leanne is like, you pretend like he's the family. Your team is your family and you need to protect them. And then coach eventually like gives him some support of, I think Michael gets a flag and the coach defends the hell out of him like, hey, that's my player, and when Michael finally sees that someone else is sticking up him like, oh, he is the family. From then on out, boom, he's like the best football player there is. Yeah. Maybe that brings us to what we don't like. The structure of this movie. I need a better like story flow. Because like one, I feel like this should be Michael's story.
Yes.
Leanne should be a side supporting character in this story. It should be how Michael deals with, someone adopting him moving into a new family, kind of becoming the poor low class to upper middle class, like overnight, and the adjustment that is for him. Because what we get is like a mix of him, not from really his perspective, but just viewing him, and then Leanne, like talking to her family, like, hey, this is the decision I'm making, and then bringing him in, and it really becomes Leanne's story once we meet her.
Absolutely. And that's why going back to the IMDb summary, I took issue with the fact that they say it's like the life of Michael Orr. It's not about the life of Michael Orr. Like it's about the Tuohy's and he's there, So that like, yeah, watching it this time around is honestly something that like was really upsetting because one, it's his life story. He should be the one we're following from like his his rough childhood all the way to like, okay, now I have all these new opportunities and he utilizes them too. And then like growing. So it should have been about his journey fully, not about like this white woman being like, should I adopt a black child? So that I had a lot of issues
What will
with.
people think?
What will people think? Oh no. Because like that's way more compelling is this guy who in real life, like did struggle and did get adopted by a wealthy family. But like, if you think about it, just because he was adopted by a wealthy family doesn't mean he was guaranteed success. He was given opportunities and utilized them. And like, I wanted more of that. I want to know like what motivates him to, study and work hard and like do all these things. It's never about that. It comes off as like the rich, privileged people are telling him what to do, so he does it, as opposed to him like pulling himself up and surviving and then going to thrive. Because Michael's journey was very much pushed to the side. We also sort of like did the actual Michael Orr a disservice and not giving him the credit he deserves for having this terrible life, surviving, and then making the most out of opportunities. Like, because that's what he did. He had opportunities in front of him because of the Tuohys that he could have straight up just been like, I ain't doing that. Like, he did it, and he's the one playing. It should be all about him.
Maybe not all about him, but the focus should lean more towards him. Because I think one of the things that's really nice about this movie is just him bonding with all these family members.
Mm-hmm.
So he's living on the streets, and he gets into this school from another friend. This is where I get kind of weird on this issue.
Yeah, same.
So there's a guy, Big Tony, correct? That was the guy at the beginning?
I think so.
He's got a son that he's trying to put into this like Christian like upper class school. Son's friend is Big Mike, and like, oh, we should get him into the school as well. But then as soon as that happens, we kind of don't have Big Tony around anymore.
No, I don't think we ever see him again. No.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
We never see them. We see them at like graduation, just sitting behind them. And I think, oh, what happened to them the entire movie?
Right.
Right. I would have just maybe sprinkled them in throughout. Maybe had them be like, hey, are you doing okay? Because like, you know, we were friends like last year.
Right.
A couple months ago.
That also like is something actually Michael Orr commented on, was that the movie didn't give credit to the people that were helping him survive before he got to the Tuohys. And so, yeah, we should have, you know, whatever, I don't even remember their names. That's how little they're in this movie.
Yeah.
Or talked about, like, we should have some reflection on, like, there were people who were in underprivileged situations who still tried to help him. So, but that's not there. It's all about the Tuohys saving the day.
Yeah, the movie to me needs to be about opportunity and family.
Yeah.
And him trusting people, because these, you know, I guess these old friends he has disappear, abandon him as well. But he's living on the streets. The Tuohys, like, hey, do you have any place to stay? And it's clear he does not have a place to stay. And she doesn't even give him the choice. You know, Leanne's like, get in the car. We're taking you to our house. So you have somewhere warm to sleep tonight, which is nice. He's, you know, and we see that perspective from him, like, oh, I'm very nervous about this. You know, even if it doesn't match up with real life or the story that's being told right now, is still nice. It's, you know, some families taking him in, and, you know, he gets to, like, you know, like, he's nervous, quiet about it. I like this, like, quiet, sheltered big dude that's just like, I'm not comfortable in this situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then throughout the story, getting closer to the family, he opens up more to people and become, you know, and then from that, you know, familiarity with everyone, just becomes more confident. Which I don't think is the real life Orr, because from what I've read, Orr was always a confident person.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's not right. But aside from real life, just reviewing this movie, I like that he's this, like, quiet, shy kid that, you know, opens up more with his family just being kind to him.
Yeah, you know, I will say one thing that I found very sweet was, you know, everyone in the beginning is referring to him as Big Mike because he's so tall. He's this big kid.
Oh, what a stupid name. Stop calling him that.
And at a moment, like, when he's being very quiet, just getting to, like, kind of know the family, Sandra Bullock's character is, like, trying to ask him questions about himself. He's being very shy, and she goes, just tell me one thing about you, just one thing. And he goes, I don't like to be called Big Mike. And she goes, okay, well then I'm gonna call you Michael. And, like, I just thought that's, like, a really sweet sort of way to, like, get to know something about him and get past his shyness. I don't know, I did like that.
Yeah, once she gave him that, like, little amount of, like, respect, he opened up to her. Really, he's like, okay, oh, she doesn't want to just call me the goofy name Big Mike anymore.
Yeah, she wants to treat me like a person. Like, that's, and he, you know, I do like the shyness plays well into, like, him adapting to this new life. But I would have sort of rather had it be more about like trust, like you said, like trusting, because so many people in his life have abandoned him. So less like I'm shy, I'm scared, and more like what do you want? Like what? Yeah, you're giving me a place to stay, but what do you want from me in return?
Because
or
I think the
something?
best moments are him interacting with people, like building the trust. The movie should have been just him interacting with all these people and all these people affecting him.
So one thing that like really upsets me the most about this movie as well is that we learn everything about him through the people around him, especially in the beginning. So that's
Yeah.
very annoying. And I again feel like just makes Michael Orr like almost this background character that's
He does
just
not
like
feel like the
seen.
lead. He feels like a
No.
supporting character in his own story.
Yeah, which is really upsetting. So when he first gets to the school, the teachers and the faculty are the ones that are telling us all about like, oh, well, he has this GPA, he did this in school, he did this, he can't do, like, it's like all the backstory is being told through other people, which I
Yeah.
don't care for at all. And then like we start to learn, we don't even like get the full picture of like where he came from. We get it through like tiny flashbacks. Like at one point, even Sandra Bullock is in the process of adopting him, and she is talking to a social services worker, and it's him who's like, oh yeah, his mom had a drug problem, had a bunch of kids. I would have rather had it, not necessarily like Michael telling us about his story. I would have rather like seen it or known it from him, not from people around him talking about it, because that makes him feel less than a person. It's more just like someone we're talking about rather than understanding what he went through.
One thing that bothers me as a video game player is when she refers to the video game system as a play box.
I know that took me a while to understand what she was even saying. I was like, play box. Like,
So
what?
I don't know if this has like, we don't have the rights to say the word PlayStation or Xbox. So let's
maybe.
just smash them together. Or she's just an ignorant mom. I don't understand the video games on the TV. The moving images and the controllers. I don't get it. The gamer inside me was like, you gotta at least know, just say the word video games, or be the super old adult in their like 60s that only refers to every video game as the Nintendo. Are you playing that Nintendo? Oh, there's a cute scene where they visit a Borders. Borders is closed, guys.
That's one thing I liked about this movie, was having the nostalgia over Borders.
Yeah. It is fun watching older movies and like, oh hey, that doesn't exist anymore. Oh, Blockbuster, that's not a thing.
Yeah. It was just cute seeing like the kids sitting in the aisle looking at books
and reading books.
Take me back.
So one thing that I am just confused about is this, like, football is brought into this movie like an hour and a half into this movie. This movie is just too long. We should trim this movie up a lot. Because I think I wrote it down. Hour and 22 minutes. We are done with Michael's first game. He's finally had his first game an hour and a half into this movie. What the hell? I thought this movie was about him learning football. Is it about the family or is it about football? What is it about? Because you've got 6 things we're juggling and we're not focused. Why was Leanne a better coach than Coach?
Yeah, Coach, what you doing? This is your job. This is your job. Yeah. Also, I like that. Like, I like it in a sort. She has another Karen moment where they're playing a game and she calls the coach on his cell phone. Is like, "Why are you playing this? Do it this way." And like, again, I don't understand football, so I don't get what she's telling him to do. But she's like, "Run this play, blah, 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 blah." And it's like, oh my god, girl.
She was telling him, I think, to run the ball. So
sure.
I mean, I could explain how football works to you, but I don't think you want to learn that.
I don't.
But essentially, Michael's position is best suited for blocking players from tackling the quarterback. And especially with Michael being as big as he was, and then he carried that kid across the entire field, which was awesome. If he's doing that, blocking the one player that's coming after the quarterback could just follow Michael and run that play instead of trying to throw it to someone who could get tackled. So
Sure.
she was just like, again, it was Coach being stupid, and her like, Coach, run a play that works. And he's like, oh, stop calling me. Why he took that call, I do not know. I feel like if you're a coach, you would not be taking oh yeah? No, I'm not busy at all. Oh,
Hey, what's
that's
up?
just
What's good?
it's just a football game. My only job is to coach these kids, and this is the prime time to do that, but I can talk.
Doesn't he also get promoted to become like an assistant coach at University of Mississippi where Michael's going? I feel like that's sad.
I'm gonna let you know I wasn't paying attention more towards the end.
Okay,
It was just like,
that's fair.
oh man, this movie has gone on just a long time.
Yeah, it has. The editing is also super weird. Like there are scenes where like, okay, that nothing came of that. Like the pacing's weird, the editing's weird, the
They have a lot of
structure's
good
weird.
Heartstring moments, and
Heart
good
tugging.
scenes, but yeah, they just didn't push the buttons the right way to cut
They
this.
did not. I think
Um,
the pieces were there for it to have been something really good, but something
Oh.
happened along the way.
So one thing that really struck a nerve with me was the music. The music in this movie, it feels like a Hallmark movie, like made for TV. It does not feel like a real production of a movie, or at least fit the tone of this movie.
Truly though, this movie airs on the side of Lifetime movie than it does Best Picture movie.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh man, it was rough. I was just like, can we get like any type of like feel good music in here? It's not, because it's so sappy most of the movie in like the best ways, but like we don't get that sappy melodramatic music that we would get in like the OC or like Friday Night Lights, and like give us those like slow motion moments, like dun 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 dun, and just like, ah, he's gonna do it, he's doing it, yay. And like, no, we don't get that at all.
So, Joe,
Yes.
do you think The Blind Side should be given a second chance?
That's a tough question.
Mm.
And because I have this ref outfit, sorry podcast listeners, you didn't get to see me in this extremely tight ref outfit. It's been so hard to breathe in this. I've got to give my judgment on this call.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have a whistle.
Give us
It's the
the
only thing I'm
flag
missing.
or whatever they do.
So refs typically have whistles for someone who doesn't watch sports.
Okay.
Hey,
I watch baseball, so I knew the
I guess
whistle
there's not
thing.
refs in baseball. There's umpires.
There's umps, but they have whistles.
Do they?
I don't know.
think so. I think they just shout because they don't need a whistle.
Okay. Anyway, continue, ref.
So I've got to get my call. So I think this is a good movie. I think this is good to watch if you're like, I want something that like is feel good. Is it a great movie? No. Is it entertaining? Sure. Once was enough. So I would say no need for a second chance. If you're interested, go for it. It's not the worst thing. It's entertaining, but yeah, it does not get a second chance for me.
Okay. All right. I think that once was enough. I think if you haven't seen it, you don't need to.
Okay.
I think if you want a feel-good movie, there's a lot of better ones.
there's definitely better feel-good movies.
So if you're looking for feel-good, you could go somewhere else. If you're looking for a Sandra Bullock joint, you can go somewhere else. If you want a good sports movie, this isn't it.
It's not a sports movie.
It's not a sports movie.
Very little sports in it.
Very little sports, even though it's about the life of Michael or whatever. I say do not give it a second chance. It does not hold up well over time. The flaws of it are just even more obvious now. And yeah, if you haven't seen it, don't worry about it.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it by now, there's other things out there.
Thank you for listening, and thank you for listening to our award season little mini series we had. It was a time, I'll just say that.
Award-winning, if you will.
Award-winning time. As always, you can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Second Chance Movies. You can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube. And if you want to follow us personally, our social medias are in the descriptions of this episode. A big thank you to Beaty McBeatface for making our dope intro song that we absolutely love.
We love that song.
We love that song. And yeah, if you like what you're hearing so far, please rate and review us. That always helps. Share us. Get the word
tell
out there.
friends about us.
Tell friends about us.
Hey, we like their opinions, or we don't like their opinions. Listen how stupid their opinions are.
Whatever.
Hey, we want to talk about movies. If you have any thoughts on movies, let us know those thoughts. Let us know what movies you'd like to hear us give a second chance to. What you'd like to hear us talk about.
Yeah, we're open. Clearly. We did The Blind Side. We'll watch anything.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. And we'll be back next Sunday with another Second Chance movie.
Sunday football.